right, to wrap up the infrastructure side of the house, we're going to dive more into Kubernetes and containerized workloads inside of here. So expanding the infrastructure portion, we see Kubernetes, and so we're going to open this up and start with sessions. So just like we've seen throughout the platform related to sessions, happen and kind of take place within our Kubernetes world, operate the exact same way. So basically at any sitting, maybe managing the cluster, doing different activities on there. I want to know all of those things basically that were done in a single sitting. So as we go load sessions, you're going to have all of your normal filters that you're used to at the top here. Maybe I want to go filter down to a particular EKS cluster or GKE cluster, whatever the scenario might be. I could very easily just come over here and filter it this way as well under our clusters. And then down here below, you're going to have all of the audit sessions inside of here. So we'll quickly be able to see identity information. Was there any threat findings related? Was there any, how many events were done during that session? Like we could see this one, for example, this was a bit bigger of a session, 71 events. I could come over here, open that session ID, and all of the things that happened during that session will be listed inside of here. So we can see a bunch of updates, some patch information, maybe some create events inside of here, and those will all be listed in here in chronological order, plus all of the sub tabs, dissecting out identity, user agent strings, location, and all of that information as well. Also on here, just like we've been used to, now we're going to have those sub tabs across the bottom here as well. These are great ways to filter what you're seeing up at the top based off of maybe very specific things that you want to know about. So let's just go to the events tab, for example, inside of here. And as we start to go, we can say, hey, like scale update, resource update events, deletes. Maybe I want to go filter down, we don't see a whole lot of deletes like patch events inside the environment. Maybe I want to go see where those are coming from. Token reviews, resource types, and being able to filter. I want to go only look at like maybe pod related events inside of here. So you could filter on all of these as well. So this is really kind of the session portion of the Kubernetes area inside of here. And then of course the resources, where we're going to split apart everything that is Kubernetes related inside of here. And if I wanted to go filter down on something very specific, so you can see maybe I want to only go interact with pods and go look at that, cluster roles, maybe a very specific account itself, and I want to go filter down on that. So a lot of times what I find myself doing is that, one of two things is that I'll come down here to the sub tabs and maybe there's something container related and I just want to go learn more about the particular container. So let's just say core DNS, for example. And as I go filter on that, you're going to go see all of the resources that are related to that. So I think kind of like what the most common things we'll see is looking at like container related information, namespace related information inside of here. Or if you just wanted to go consume all resources for a particular cluster, you could simply just come over to the cluster and go open it up. And what's so nice about this is you'll be greeted with all of the related information for that cluster inside of here. So for example, what we'll see here is an entire resource graph for our Exaforce Demo EKS cluster. And as I go open this up inside of here, let's go ahead and expand this out, is that now we'll see, I'm going to move my face here really quick. There we go. And now we'll see, let's go ahead and move it back, is we can see all of the related events or resources inside of here. So namespaces, the nodes, and I could go open up nodes and it'll go pop out each one. And I could kind of unaggregate these as well. Like, hey, I only want to see this one particular node. Maybe there's something I want to learn about, like its entire chain inside of here. And as I go open that up, what you'll see is that we now have the cluster, the node, and then you can see what EC2 instance that it even has backing it. I can see this particular resource has been deleted, but that doesn't mean that I can't go open this up and go learn more about this EC2 when it did exist inside of here. And same thing, you'll be greeted with that entire resource graph, all of the information that we knew about that EC2 before it got deleted. So just a nice way of, in this particular scenario, going understanding like, hey, what does my EKS cluster look like? All the related resources that were part of it, maybe resources that were even deleted. And I want to go learn more about like, hey, when that thing was around, show me the runtime for it. Show me the different permissions and identities that interacted with it. So just a really nice way, even historically, to come inside of here and go understand like what things look like in the past that maybe were associated to it. all of the right events, and then of course you can pivot to all events. I just want to see everything that's been related in chronological order. From AWS config, we can open up the raw config itself. Here's all of the information inside of here. We could quickly go and download this if we wanted to. So just a real wealth of information inside of here related to your EKS clusters, or just kind of really kind of any clusters wherever, depending on what you're hosting. And then just like I was showing before, I already kind of interacted with containers here, but also it's like, hey, maybe like what threat findings have we seen related to any of our clusters? And on this one, actually, we could see that there was a privileged container with root level access. And as I go open this will take me back to my threat findings and kind of give me all of that information I wanted to know about this particular one, what cluster was involved with, give me more details around this privileged container with root level access, and kind of go detail those out. So if there is any open risks or threat findings or anything like that, and maybe I manage our infrastructure related to microservices, I could go take a look at all those events inside of here as a way that it's like, hey, once again, that risk reduction type of activity inside of here. So I hope you found this informative, and we're going to stick with Investigate, and we're going to move on to software as a service events and dive into our code repos. Thank you.